remember the shirt this time. Hello there, and welcome to Stephen King's Saturday Night. I'm Scotty, you're not. And today we are looking at Children of the Corns, one of the well-known, but not very well received Stephen King movies. The story is about a couple traveling down the road through Nebraska where they come across some feral children who worship God in a cornfield. You're led by Isaac, who's played by John Franklin, who at the time was 25 years old, but he has like a growth deficiency, so he looks younger. Our two main characters, Sarah and Bert, are played by, Vicky and Bert. You'll understand why I called her Sarah when I mentioned to you that Vicky is played by Sarah Connor herself. Linda Hamilton, I forgot the name. Linda Hamilton. Peter Horton plays Bert. And I'm sorry, for those that 70s show fans out there and you watch this movie, every time she keeps yelling the name Bert, do you get the Betty White vibes from that show? Bert! Berdykins, Bert! Yeah. So they are traveling across country. Peter's going to school to be a doctor. So they're traveling there. And meanwhile, our backstory for these kids is told at the beginning. Job and his father are going to this diner after church. The sister didn't go because she was sick, and the mom didn't go either because she's watching the sister. But the mom still dies, I guess. There's this thing where the dad's on the phone, and the kids start to kill the adults, and you can hear the mom scream on the other side. So someone showed up and killed them. I guess in the original story, all of the kids were evil, but the director of this film decided that there needed to be two people who are on our protagonist's side. Technically there was three because there was another one of the kids that tries to escape. Technically there was four because there was three boys who were trying to they were helping this kid escape. There was two boys, one was Job, but the other kid just kind of disappears after a while. And I've seen this once before. When I first bought this steelbook, I watched it. I have seen the Nostalgia Critics review of it, and so I bought it because I had to watch. Corn, tasty. You know, I had to, and I love corn, as you may know. If you watched my channel before, or you've seen any of the food reviews I did on Big LT Radio's channel, you know I love corn. So this movie disrespects the corn because it doesn't even matter. Corn doesn't even matter. They're in the corn. I guess when they were filming this, they went to Iowa, Sioux City, Iowa. I've been there. Well, I've been through there. And yes, you go to Iowa, there is corn everywhere. My brother made a joke. He went down for like a funeral, and he's like, "This would be a very terrible tour for a tour guide. And on your left, you'll see corn, and if you turn to your right, you'll see corn, and up ahead, more corn." Yeah, go to Iowa. There's a lot of corn. There's corn in Minnesota too, but like, my son, he lives on a farm with his mom and his grandparents on that side. He's lived there off and on. She has problems keeping an apartment. I'll say that much. And she's got two kids. One's not mine. One is some other dipshit's kid. And I can say that because I hate the guy. He had problems. Moving on from that stuff. But, yeah. There's corn everywhere out there. And you know it's nothing worse than driving there to drop them off. And by that point, farmers have put the manure on the fields and it stinks. I could never live on a farm. But corn, I love corn. yeah, so yeah, all the adults get killed. And then it says it's 3 years later. Right away, I'm thinking, in 3 years, just 3 years, no one is investigating. Maybe they have. There's this blue man that's hung up. Is that supposed to be a cop? I don't know. Not what it's supposed to be. And leave one adult alive, gas station person, the owner of a gas station, because he directs them there. And okay, I don't understand this. So he says you got to go this way to go to a different town that's not the town that the kids are in. So when Bert tries to drive that way, all he sees is signs for the other town. Like, did they put up the signs, or were we supposed to believe that this he who walks behind the rows is putting these signs to tell them to go back? I don't know. Or is it the devout sign from God telling them, because spoiler alert, they end up defeating this deity who walks behind the rows. So maybe they're destined to do that. Who knows? Sarah is a psychic, and like I said, she was an original character of Stephen King's, but she's written like she is being a psychic because Stephen King likes to write psychics in his movies. Not every movie, but some of them. But yeah, so as they're driving down the road, the kid that tries to escape, he's attacked. I don't get this. He's attacked by Malachi. We know it's Malachi. We can tell by the outfit. Malachi is like second in command for now under Isaac. So we know it's Malachi. Malachi attacks the kid, right? Hooks him. We don't see it on camera. This movie's what, PG-13, right? It's not rated, can't be rated R, is it? If it's rated R, there's not a lot of gore. I assume it's PG-13. I don't think there's even an F-bomb dropped. Then again, there's no F-bomb dropped in the Conjuring movies, but they're still rated R because of spooky stuff. But even Annabelle Comes Home is rated R, and I've even asked people, like my friend Brandon, I've asked him, and hey, you watched Annabelle Come Home, right? Yeah. Did you think there was anything in that movie that warranted it being rated R? No. Easily PG-13. But all the Conjuring movies are rated R for some. That and La Llorona. La Llorona didn't seem like it should be rated R either. I guess Drowning Children would be for rated R. I don't know. But anyway, back to the movie I'm supposed to be talking about. Children of the Corns. So yeah, they're driving down, and the kid that was killed by Malachi comes stumbling out of the cornfield. Like, when you get your throat slashed, wouldn't you just fall down there? And even later, Isaac, berates him for this. Like, you killed him without consent. Yeah. Yet, Isaac is the one, spoiler alert, that gets put on the stocks and burned by this thing. And it comes back as a demonically possessed, I guess. They find this kid, and he's dead, and they get the suitcase. He goes and puts a blanket over him, and he goes back to get the suitcase. The suitcase must have flew somewhere, because Peter disappears to go get the suitcase. And then he tells Vicky, not Peter, Bert. The real actor's name is Peter. His name is Bert. Bert goes to get the suitcase, leaves Vicky in the car because she can't look at this dead kid there. And then we see she gets back out of the car, yelling for Bert, Bert! And that's where I'm like, that 70s show thing, Bert! And she finds the kid pops up, jump scare, it's all a dream! Why was that in there? Did she fall asleep? Are we supposed to believe she passed out from seeing the dead kid? Is that what's supposed to happen? It's not really explained. It's very confusing. But, yeah. So he comes back, he's like, Vicky! You okay? It's okay, it's okay. And I put the kid in the trunk, and then they go talk to the gas station guy, which Like, we need a phone. I haven't got a telephone. I ain't got gas either. I ain't got enough diesel fuel either. It's like, he's clearly trying to push them along. He tells them, hey, I gotta go this way. And then he gets killed by Malachi and the others. I think he also gets lambasted for that too. For killing the so Malachi's out going out on his own. I think he kills the dog too. You don't see that though. So they get to town, and they go to the diner. That's where they meet the little girl, I believe. And the little girl takes them back to her house, which they're not supposed to be in. And like, I think Isaac is the more lenient with them. But Malachi thinks they should be punished for... But like, she sees the visions. So, of course, Isaac is going to be more lenient towards her. So, it's very important, these visions. They go there to listen to music. And stuff. She takes them back to her house. And she doesn't explain... Eyebrow hair. Oh, my glasses pinched an eyebrow hair. I hate that. My eyebrows are like freaking caterpillar. You know, like Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman's eyebrows in Dreamcatcher. Mine get like that. I have to trim them every once in a while. They're not bad right now, but Jesus Christ, that hurt like hell. Anyway. Oh God, ouch. Pulling a hair hurts. I have to pull ear hairs. And that hurt. Pluck them, pluck them, pluck them. Pluck them, and fuck them. Not that way. Sickos. Anyway. So they take him back to the house. And Peter's like... Not Peter. Bert. Bert's like... He has to go help Job, I guess. He has to go do something. He says, stay here, you'll be safe. And are we supposed to believe that Peter has powers? Because I wasn't looking at TV, but I hear him repeating what he said, and it echoes like it's something. He's like, Vicky. When he goes back to the house, she's not there. Because Malachi, Isaac sent out Malachi to kidnap her, and they're just going to sacrifice her at first. And Malachi's like, we need the guy too. He's like, this will do first, and then we'll get him. And then that's when they turn on him. Everybody, I guess, is getting tired of Isaac's ways. Okay. But here's the thing. He's the one that sent them to kill all the parents, right? Then they're getting tired of his ways. But they're still going to kill people. What's going to change? That Malachi's in charge now? Okay. I failed to see how that's going to be any different, but fine. You just have Malachi telling you what to do. And if you think about it, they show that they sacrifice anyone who gets to the age of 18. How old is Isaac supposed to be here? He's played by a 25-year-old, I'm guessing 16-ish, if even. And then, was he 16 when it first started? And then 3 years later, he'd be 19. So that means he would have to have been 13 in the opening of this, but he didn't age at all. So now he's 16. Malachi didn't change either, so I don't know. And to think about it, neither Job or his sister, they're the same age. I get they didn't have that much budget. Apparently they kept almost going over budget. There were several things they had to cut out. Like in the book, there's like a big dragon-like thing that is he who walks behind the rose. Here's like a poofta of smoke that we get, and it possessed Isaac. And like there was a character that was supposed to get decapitated. He didn't have the money for that. I think it's the gas station guy was supposed to get decapitated. Didn't have money for that. So yeah, because they had to pay Stephen King, who didn't like this movie, by the way. Shock. He said they turned it into talking about about Dogma rather than what his story was about. And so he really didn't care for it, which he didn't care for The Shining either. And well, there's a different spectrum here, because The Shining is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Children of the Corn is alright. Leave that. So Bert goes with Job to the thing to rescue his girlfriend. Malachi and the others turn on him and they take Vicky down and they put the 18-year-old kid up there with Isaac, and they both get stuck, killed, whatever, sacrificed. Isaac gets possessed, we find out later. Bert comes to save the day and sends Vicky with the girl once again. And then they set the cornfield on fire, which destroys he who walks behind the rows, walks among the rows. Excuse me, I'm saying behind the whole time. He who walks among the rows, excuse me. And the big poofty of cauliflower, which is what the director described it as. Big cauliflower explosion thing. And then they're like, hey, Bert's like, so what do we do with the kids? Really, it could have ended after the explosion. Okay, let's get the car, let's drive off. Because this ending is so stupid, in a way where he's like, what do we do with those two? We're going to have to take them with us. You guys want to come with? And they somehow know that they're going to Seattle, which is confusing. Like, hey, Seattle! I'm like, they never said they were going to Seattle, but okay. I mean, they told us they were going to Seattle. They didn't tell the kids they were going to Seattle. And they're okay. They got a car, so they got to walk to the next town, the closest town, because the car was destroyed. He's like, I got to get a map out so we can walk. And the weird girl that disappeared partway through the film is in the backseat. Was she just sitting in the car waiting for them? How did she know they were going to come back? And how didn't they see her in the car to begin with? But she attacks and doesn't get killed. She gets knocked out when Vicky hits her with the door. She's like, she's out cold. And then the movie ends. They start walking away. The credits start rolling, and it's, yeah, that's how it ends. It's not really an ending, but that's how it ends. And there is more of these movies out there. I have a majority of them, but I still need to get 3 more. I have the first 8. Means there are 12 of these things. 12 of these things. So, yeah. Beats me. I'll try to do them. Next year, though. They're going to be next year. Not even next Halloween, just sometime next year. Maybe during the summer next year, I'll do a run of Children of the Corn. I got to get the other 3. But just a good start, I guess. It's the middle of the road for me, because it's just, I don't know, that ending, not really an ending. And I liked Isaac a lot, but our 2 main characters are kind of bland. There's, like when King was saying, there's supposed to be something about their relationships. In the book, there was a lot about their relationship, how Bert couldn't commit. It's literally like one line where they're making fun of the in this movie. They make fun of the religion. The people, like, other things on the radio are the what do you call them? The gospel people. You have to stand up against premature marriage, premarital sex or whatever it is. And then there's one line where she yells out, "No time for commitment." What is it? No time for the sins of the, whatever, for commitment. And that's like the only thing you get that's supposed to be from the movie. Another line that's from the book. There's another line where he's like, Bert says something. She's like, "Is that a proposal?" He's like, "No." That's it. That's all you get that was supposed to be from the book. But I can see why they made it more religious. It fits with this. Never read the book, but that's the middle of the road. So, what are your thoughts on Children of the Corn? Leave me in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.